Closing of the 20th Congress of Nghệ An Provincial Party Committee.
Russia warns of appropriate response if U.S. sends Tomahawks to Ukraine.
Mountain residents grapple with prolonged flooding.
Hello, so good to see you again in today's news. I'm Hoàng Yên, and here we go, the first step of the show. After 2 days, the good king, with the spirit of solidarity, democracy, discipline, breakthrough development, the 20th Nghệ An Provincial Party Congress for the 2025-2030 term just concluded late this morning, successfully completing all the proposed agenda items.
During the 2 working days, the Congress focused its intelligence, discussed enthusiastically and unanimously approved important reports. Simultaneously, it clearly defined the goals, tasks, and solutions for the 2025 to 2030 period. The Congress reached a consensus on several specific prominent goals, such as average GRDP, gross regional domestic product. Growth rate for the 2026-2030 period is targeted to be 12% or higher. Average per capita GRDP is expected to reach approximately 165 to 190 million VND. Total social investment capital for the period is projected to be around 150 trillion VND. In terms of personnel, the Congress elected the 20th Provincial Party Executive Committee, comprising 68 comrades, and selected 30 official delegates to attend the 14th National Party Congress. The first meeting of the new Executive Committee elected the Provincial Party Standing Committee with 17 members, including the Secretary and Deputy Secretaries, as well as the Provincial Inspection Committee. In his closing speech, Mr. Nguyen Duc Trung, Secretary of the 20th Nghệ An Provincial Party Committee, affirmed that the success of the Congress marks a significant turning point, reflecting the unity of will and a new aspiration for development. The Congress called on all cadres, party members, and citizens to continue upholding solidarity, seizing opportunities, and striving to make Nghệ An a prosperous province and a national-level growth pole in the new era of development.
Russian President Vladimir Putin on October 2nd just warned the U.S. about the risk of conflict escalation if Washington supplies Ukraine with long-range Tomahawk missiles.
Speaking at the Valdai Discussion Club in Sochi, President Putin stated that if the U.S. provided long-range Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, it would mean Washington directly intervening in the conflict, and the situation would be very dangerous. He also noted the power of Tomahawk missiles and their potential to harm Russia. According to the Russian leader, although Ukraine's deployment of Tomahawk missiles would not change the balance of power on the battlefield, it could increase tensions in relations between Russia and the U.S., leading to a new stage of escalation. President Putin's statement came after media reports said the U.S. was considering supplying Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine so that Kiev could launch attacks deep into Russian territory.
Meanwhile, despite international protests and warnings, Israeli authorities have detained over 400 international activists belonging to a humanitarian aid flotilla bound for Gaza Strip. On the ground, the Israeli military just continued to launch further fierce attacks, causing heavy casualties among Palestinians.
The Israel Defense Forces, IDF, announced that its navy seized 41 vessels and detained more than 400 activists from the global Sumud flotilla supporting the Gaza Strip in the area's waters on October 2nd. All ships were towed to Israel's Ashdod port after Israeli Navy vessels brought the activists to the same port in preparation for deportation procedures. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu praised the Israeli Navy for repelling an illegal operation against Israel. However, Israel's move to intercept the international aid flotilla supporting Gaza has been met with a wave of harsh international condemnation and protests. Palestinian and international sources reported that on October 2nd, the Israeli military continued to launch many fierce attacks using both air and ground forces across the Gaza Strip, resulting in at least 52 deaths and approximately 200 injuries.
Upcoming are some updated news.
The Namdo International Culinary Expo 2025, NICE 2025, officially opened on October 1st in Mokpo City, Jeollanam-do Province, Korea, with the participation of many domestic and international guests. The event lasted 26 days, until October 26th, marking the first time Korea organized an international food exhibition approved by the government. Notably, Vietnam and many ASEAN countries had booths and special food introduction programs at NICE 2025. This is an opportunity to promote Vietnamese cuisine, especially dishes that are popular with international tourists such as banh mi, nem quan, milk coffee, and sugarcane juice.
The Prime Minister has just signed a decision providing support from the Central Budget Reserve Funds for 2025 to several localities to overcome the consequences of Typhoon number 10 and other natural disasters since the beginning of 2025. Specifically, 2,524 billion VND from the Central Budget Reserve Funds for 2025 will be allocated to 15 localities to support people's lives, repair dike and irrigation reservoir systems, natural disaster prevention and control infrastructure, essential infrastructure, and urgently resettle residents in disaster-stricken areas affected by Typhoon number 10 and other natural disasters since the start of 2025. Of this amount, Nghệ An province will receive 500 billion VND. To date, floods, landslides, and storms caused by Typhoon number 10 have resulted in 65 deaths and missing persons nationwide. The total estimated economic damage is nearly 12,800 billion VND.
This morning, the center of Typhoon Matmo was located over the sea east of the Philippines. Maximum sustained winds were at level 8, gusting to level 10. The typhoon is moving west-northwestward at a speed of about 25 km/h. Forecasts indicate that during the night of October 3rd and day of October 4th, the northern part of the Northeast Sea region will experience strong winds of level 8 or 9, with areas near the eye of the storm reaching level 10 to 11, gusting to level 13. Waves will be 4-6 meters high, with extremely rough seas. The southern part of the Northeast Sea, including the Hoang Sa archipelago, will have strong winds of level 6 to 7, gusting to level 9. Waves will be 3 pesius high, with rough seas. Meteorological agencies warn that all vessels operating in the above areas face a high risk of being affected by strong winds and high waves. The natural disaster risk level in the northeast part of the East Sea is level 3.
Due to a series of consecutive and the prolonged floods, residents in many villages across the mountainous communes are still now struggling with the flood waters. More in this story today.
After 2 days of rapidly rising floodwaters, which submerged houses by more than 2 meters, many residents of Lam Hoi village, Quai Chau commune, are still reeling from the shock of how quickly the water rose. All the assets of more than 30 households in the village were instantly swept away by the floodwaters, and even today, hundreds of people are struggling in dire circumstances, lacking essential necessities.
All the furniture is completely damaged. Almost all electrical appliances cannot be used anymore. Some of the clothes were found, washed and worn again.
Here, we are lucky enough to have saved lives. All of the people's property is gone. For the past few days, the people from the lower hamlets have come up to help the upper hamlets, sharing what little they have to overcome the difficulties together.
After 5 days submerged in floodwaters, in the late afternoon of October 2nd, dozens of households in Chau Than Hamlet, Tomahawk commune were still struggling in the water to search for their few properties and livestock that had been swept away.
As of today, all the chickens and ducks have been swept away. There's nothing left. My children and grandchildren brought me down to shelter in the lower hamlet, and I only managed to return today.
After a long period of flooding, the lives of people in the communes in the old Quai Hop district have been completely disrupted. The economic development of the people has stagnated, and according to the experience of the people here, when the water from upstream is pouring strongly, the flooding period will last for many days to come.
Due to the prolonged flooding, combined with the intense sun and high temperatures over the past 2 days, the local authorities' biggest concern right now is the potential outbreak of disease once the water recedes.
The last story to end our news today. Thank you so much for your attention. Goodbye for now.